I run the New Zealand office in New Zealand, in Auckland, and it's we call it a temple or a centre, or a Japanese word is shibu, and it's it's a nice little two-storey building. It's got a lovely energy about it. The people who are members of Happy Science to come there all say how nice it is to come to the centre, and they really enjoy the meditation, and they can feel the difference in the energy there. Immediately when they're meditating, and even just when they come, people just say what a wonderful energy they feel there. But there's no comparison to here.
It's a physical sensation as well as just being a tourist. So when you're sitting in a temple, you're in the presence of God.
It's so thick, it's so it's there so much that you feel like you could cut through the atmosphere with a knife, and it's a feeling of bliss. It's a feeling of bliss. It's indescribable, really, until a person experiences it. It's one of those things, that are beyond this world. So, for anybody who gets an opportunity to come to Happy Science Temple, they will experience it themselves, guaranteed.
Really powerful. Normally, when I'm sitting in a temple, I can feel really warm hands and face, sometimes into the body. But sitting in here before, I could feel it in my toes. The whole body was just tingling.
Beyond this world, there's another world, the spirit world. And so, because the spirit world exists, when we come to a temple, we're within a realm that's being created with a special vibration, with high spirits creating a heavenly place. So even though you can't see them, you can certainly feel the presence, and by the lifting up of happiness in the heart.
Tokyo, Osaka, Tokushima, Nikko, Nasu, Murekai. I can't remember what we went to this afternoon. The hand's just getting too much. Every single one has a totally different ambience around it. Totally different feelings.
And that comes down, they all do have a different energy. All the temples have a different energy. And the reason for that is just what I was mentioning before, how the temples aren't just a physical building. They have a spiritual entity that's responsible for creating that energy. So depending on the spiritual entity from the highest dimensions that's responsible for that building, or for that temple, for that sacred space, the energy from that being is what we feel.
They're all my favorites. When you look at it, it's the same atmosphere, the same, what's in one is in all. You know what I mean? It's because it's peace, love. And I'm very much impressed with the overall. Over 100%. I'm very much impressed with everything, how the members, how they treat the foreign people, foreigners that come here. They're all welcome. Everybody's like a family,
For instance, we've just been training at one called Nikko, and in Nikko it's a very much like a Shakyamuni Buddha style type energy that's there. So it's strong on discipline and self-reflection. So when a person goes there, they just feel the desire to reflect on themselves and think about their lives. And that's because the energy that's looking after the temple and protecting that zone, that's what that energy embodies. And so that's what we tend to do, and we suddenly start to think about ourselves and our lives and how we can improve ourselves, and if we've got some shortcomings that we need to address, it helps us. And this is one of the essence of the teaching of Happy Science, that as I said before, we've got the other world, it's the spiritual world. Well, from the teachings of Happy Science, we come here for the purpose of training and develop the soul. And often we don't see the shortfalls or things of ourselves. We tend to see other people's, but not our own. But when we go to a place like a Nikko with a self-reflection element, we really see, wow, and then we can change ourselves, and it improves our lives in so many ways. We feel happier, and not only that, the people around us enjoy us more, so therefore we have better relations, so our job goes better, our relationships with our partners go better, everything goes better. When we go to another temple, such as the one we're in here right now, which is at Miraikan, And this one's more about progress, more of the Hermes type rather than the Shakyamuni Buddha style, or Hermes style. And Hermes is all about love and progress. So when we come in here, we start to feel wanting to help improve our lives and help improve the world, and what we can help to develop the world and develop ourselves from that perspective. So from my Master Okawa's teachings, really development means development of love, or increase of love. So there's always the love element to it, expansion of love. And so through the development that you experience at Midaikan, then you can actually really improve your relationships with people through knowing how to love more. It teaches about love. And so all of the different centres have got different aspects to them in their training. So yeah, that's why there's a different feel. If you go to one temple, to the next, it's quite astounding the different feel that there is. But it's just as Master Okawa teaches also, each one of us have within us a diamond, and our soul training is about polishing our diamond and cutting our diamond and giving the different facets. So by visiting the different temples, there's a different part of yourself that you can polish that part of your diamond and polish this part of your diamond, because we want to be a nice, balanced diamond. The diamond shines because of all the facets that have been cut out of it.
Things are very different to branch offices. Branch offices are good for a little mini recharge every now and then, but if you want a double whammy, you've got to go to the temple. There's no other way to do it.
So we're talking about the prayer rooms. Each temple has a main prayer room, and part of the rules of the temples are we're not allowed to photograph or video in the rooms, because these are the sacred centre, the heart of the temple. And each one of the temples in its main prayer room has a wonderful statue or gohonzon, which represents actually the element or the aspect of that temple, which is, as we're just talking about, each temple has its own character, its own particular type of discipline that they practice, so whether it be a Shakyamuni Buddha style or a Hermes style. But so each temple has there's actually a statue that represents the heart of that style of teaching in that temple. The one in here, for instance, it's a huge, wonderful statue of like a Hermes. Yeah, the statues themselves, people say a statue is a statue, but it's more than that. And the designers of the statues, well, they are definitely inspired by divinity, because the beauty of the statues and what's behind them. You can look at the statue and see that, and there's so much going on in the statue, from the Buddha statues, the Hermes statues, all the great Dharma wheel that exists at Tokyo Shoshinkan with the pearl of wisdom in the middle of it.
Do I have any tips for people wanting to travel temples? Yeah, take a guide.
But make sure you have adequate amount of money that you can at least could take you around and make you feel comfortable.
Don't be afraid. Have faith. Have faith. When I first discovered happy science and I left New Zealand, I believed that this teaching was true. I believed that Master Okawa was a reincarnation of the Buddha. I decided to just leave my place. I put a pack on my back. I came to Japan, and I'm so glad that I followed my heart. So I'm not saying everybody should do that, but maybe I'm saying if you do think that maybe you want to come and have a look, if you're worried about, oh, what will I do when I get there? I can't speak English, or what happens? I might be stuck, or whatever. Don't worry. Have faith. You'll be looked after.
Just come with an open mind. People should just come with an open mind and see for themselves.